And now for those cherry cookies that I promised you. And what I've done here is work with some dried cherries. You see? I've simply made a paste out of dried cherries. And these are dried cherries. They look a lot like raisins. You can get them in a gourmet cook store or in some grocery stores. And for this cookie, which is my mother's Christmas cherry cookie, I put a little bit of amaretto right over the top. So for about 2½ cups of cherries, you want about 1/4 cup of the amaretto, and you want to let those cherries soak for a while, for about 30 minutes, I would say. And that gives that a very nice flavor. Now, after you've done that, and if you don't do that in a food processor, well, you could do it in a blender, or you could chop it up by hand. Then you want to have ready some butter, because now we have to make the dough. That's our filling. And for the dough, you want to start with butter. And here I have 2 sticks of very soft butter. I want to get that mixed with my hand mixer. And then to the butter, I want to add about 2 cups of sugar. You want to do that gradually. Get the sugar in a little bit at a time. All right, so once your butter and sugar mixture is a little bit coarse like that, well, then you want to add in some lemon zest. And this is the zest of 1 large lemon. That gives that a very nice flavor. And then, to give these cookies even more flavor, I got to eat my vitamins more to get these caps off, about 1 tablespoon of almond extract. Now, if you're going to use the almond oil, you want to use a little bit less. And then some sour cream. Now, if I was doing this in Italy, I wouldn't be using sour cream. I'd be using something called panna doppia, which means double cream, because Italian heavy cream is much heavier and thicker and richer than ours. So now that gets mixed in. And here I've got 6 cups of flour with 1 teaspoon of salt and 1 teaspoon of baking soda. And you want to sift that together. And then gradually add the flour into your butter mixture. Now, when you do this, you want to make sure that when you measure the flour, that you don't pack the flour into your measuring cup, because then you'll get more flour than you really need. You want to lightly spoon it into your cup. You want to take this out onto a board, because now you want to get that into a really smooth ball of dough. So don't add any more flour unless you absolutely have to. And now you want to chill this. This you want to put into some plastic wrap. So get out some plastic wrap, and that smells nice and lemony and full of almond. And this, I would say, you want to chill for about 30 minutes or so. Don't make it too hard, because then you won't be able to roll it. So there it is, and in the fridge it goes. And I can hardly wait, because here's a chilled one that I did a little earlier for you. Now, this is just about where I want this. Let me show you. Take that off. You see that? Now that's ready to go. I'm going to cut that up now into 4 pieces, because out of dough like this, well, you're going to be able to get at least 3½ or 4 dozen cookies. And I'm going to work with a small piece at a time. So here's my dough. And now I want just a little bit more flour on my board. And spread that out and get out a rolling pin. So now you want to flatten the dough. And you see how beautifully this rolls. If this was too cold, well, then I'd have to beat it down with my rolling pin. So then I use just a biscuit cutter. This is a 3-inch biscuit cutter. And you just cut circles, you see? Now you're going to need 2 for each cookie. So once you do that, well, then you take and cut a little circle in the top parts of your cookie, because that's where you want the filling to show. Now let me show you how this goes. Move this out of the way. So there are my circles. And here is my filling. Get a spoon. You want to put about 1 teaspoon of this filling, and it's very thick. And what I love about this is it stays exactly where you put it, so it isn't runny. You spread it almost to the edges. You see, and it's very concentrate, so it has a wonderful flavor. And this is just so much fun to do today because it is my favorite cookie. So then you put the top on. And then, to make sure that is going to adhere well, you take a scissors, or a fork rather, and go all the way around, pressing, you see? Now these go into a preheated 350-degree oven. You want to let those cook, for about 10 or 12 minutes. You really want to watch them now because you don't want those to burn.